Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. The time has finally come for a major loser to open his mouth and start telling us how much of a major loser he is. The US Fed cutting rates by 25 basis points. We're going to go through a lot of cracker things. US Fed major loser is pretty much dominating all the news with what's been happening, friends, as well. We're going to go through a bit more crypto news coming after that. For example, we're going to speak about Coinbase, CME launching some more options and everything else coming your way. All of that plus more, friends. BTC, we are still unchanged from Major Loser Powell declaring to the world he is a major loser and he's always too late. He's so late, friends. Do not get him to get everybody in the office some coffee and some biggies. Trust me. Okay, he leaves the office at 9. He's coming back midday. It's going to be way past the time you're going to be bothered for that coffee. Okay, that's how late this guy is. Major Loser Powell. So what we're going to do, friends, we're going to go down to short time frames, just see what type of action has Major Loser called? Nothing. Okay, so there's absolutely nothing for Major Loser. Before we even look at his commentary, okay, his comments, he's like, yeah, I'm such a major loser. I'm so late. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, what time did this meeting start? That's how late this guy is. So Major Loser Powell, right? We did have a tiny sell the news event, and it was like, this was so low. Like, my God, let's look at this distance. It was 1.5%, and this is in meth as well. You can't even see it on the chart. Hopefully, we swoop up now. We keep going up instead of being racist the whole time. I also want to show you now. We actually go down. Let's have a look at the racist Russell 2000. So, man, we're dealing with a lot of things right now. We got crypto has to deal with Major Loser Powell being like the total biggest most major loser of all time. And now we have racist Russell 2000, friends. Check this out. Oh, man, this must have got your knickers coming off in the bedroom, because if you're looking at the racist Russell, wow, man, it actually went back for the high. You must have had some slight euphoria, and then it came back, broke the low, and now it's hanging around here. This is racist Russell. Remember, we're so close to the all-time high. We just needed to go on through, and we finally confirm an expansion, but we're on the right path. We're on the right path. It's just going to be, I guess, a little while longer. This is okay, right? As we move in. So, Major Loser Powell and the decisions out here, we summarize all of his actions just by looking at what's been going on in those big markets, right? We even have the S&P 500 smelly poop always through the all-time high. Remember, this is a unique case, friends. There's only 6 times in history where the US Fed has actually cut rates and we're beaming through the all-time high. Okay, it's very rare because usually they don't do anything. All right, they just don't do anything. But why did they do something this time? Well, the economy is so, I guess, look, the economy pretty much, it was able to power on through so much turmoil, and you had the fake jobs number last year. You had an extra 1 million jobs which weren't there. So the government been lying about everything. They just lie everything out of their teeth. You know what I mean? Friends, I mean, Charlie Kirk, everything up, down, left, right. As soon as government opens their mouth, you know they're lying, completely lying. But that's why we have crypto, right? Crypto, you can bet on them lying. That's the best thing, friends. They're best thing. Okay, they have a tendency to just lie about, you know, how much they spend. They always overspend. They have a tendency to lie about how much they're printing. They always overprint. They overprint. They overspend. They lie to you about what they're doing with the money every single time. And if you're long crypto, you are long on them lying. That's why I'm always fascinated, and I show you about the deep state, how powerful the deep state is, how they can fool a large amount of people. I don't really care if people don't believe it. I don't give a crap. I literally don't give one single crap. Okay, that's my thesis. My whole thesis for being long crypto is there's a team of insiders and outsiders, and those insiders get access to the money printer first, the printed currency units, and I get access to it last. That's what it comes down to. In the spirit of keeping it family friendly, we're going to look at the actual yield curve. We'll look at the 2-year minus the Fed funds, friend. This is extremely important. So pretty much, I guess, from the comments of Major Loser Powell, we are still around this 0.75%, around this area, which means 3 rate cuts. It's pretty much the market said, okay, you're definitely just doing 3 cuts. That's it, right? We were kind of hoping Major Loser Powell was going to be like, the economy's weak, we're going to have to cut more, but actually he's not saying that at all, which, you know, kind of maybe feels that, you know, even they're worried about jobs, which is all fugazi anyway. Maybe the inflation is not going to tick down as low as we kind of help. Maybe everything's kind of like set. But friends, I want to show you this before we actually move on to anything. Actually, let's have a quick look at PulseChain. Nothing's really much good and moving on. There has to be some dumperoonies here. pooping around, nothing exciting, everything garbage, same old stuff. So Major Loser Powell can wait for 2 seconds because I got to show you this. A lady has just given birth on PumpFun stream. A lady has given birth on PumpFun stream. So yeah, man, they've written, I think, to try get funding for, they're trying to get money handouts. Feds, this is the problem with them, man. It's awful. Everyone's doing stuff for money handouts straight away. So that's why you can kind of tell, right? Everybody's doing PumpFun stream. They're trying to get the max amount of attention, get your attention, get money and run. That's what everyone's doing, right? So look, even she said, I'm going to name my child Alon Jr. Okay, that's probably the guy who do it. So this is a lady out here. So yeah, actually giving birth. Look at this first guy. This can take some time. And then dead ass, stop moving. So they actually, geez, man, people are actually watching someone give birth in this, man. What's going on here? It's just another form of streaming, right? It's form of streaming, new short-term attention span. People say PumpFun. So I think one people want to see if this thing is real, or are they just doing an AI thing out here so they can confirm it. Yeah, so yeah, that's the type of stuff that's been happening, right? Look, friends, these things don't hold bids, okay? You're trying to get people's attention, but like, okay, back in 2017, people tried to get people's attention for a year by doing like white papers. Yeah, they're like, oh, we're going to be here for like, because they knew they're not going to be here for 10 years. So they just tried to get people's attention for a year. There's a white paper, there's a person, they get the money, and then everything rugged. And then they're like, okay, we don't want to, because people getting money, right? Well, they were getting money. They don't need to like convince you they're going to be around for a year. Then they just did it. Then in 2020 and 2021, they just convinced people that they needed to be here for 6 months. Yeah, just being there 6 months was enough. You know, to get some token unlocks and get the money, and they rug, okay? But now we're in 2025 and 2024. They don't even need to convince you they're there for 6 months anymore. Like, we've devolved. They're just convincing you they just got your attention for 6 hours. That's it. And it's actually worse than that. It's lower. It's like 6 minutes. They're like, hey, can I just get your attention? 6 minutes. It's like actually devolving. It's TikTok brain rot generation stuff. So we're going to play some Pumpy G music, not because we have to, but because we want to. Yeah, so how does that play out? Well, think about it. Like, friends, remember, how does anything go up? What's the science of tokens going up? Long-term holders, yeah? Long-term holders. Long-term holders. People come in, what's a long-term holder? You buy supply, and you don't want to look at the option of selling in like, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. That's how Bitcoin goes up, right? So it's kind of funny. Everyone's like, you know what? We don't want to do that long-term stuff, and it's too risky, and we don't trust it. So we're just going to do super, super short-term stuff. So that's what, it's almost like the market split. It's like, okay, Bitcoin is the forever up only. That's how everyone's worked it. And then they're like, okay, then let's do the short-term, mega short-term stuff. Yeah, there's nobody's giving any attention in the middle. That's our risk cycle business stuff. That's why we did the business cycle to crank up, so people are able to take more of a longer view. But they're not. That's the sad part. Because why? Because, friends, people are smart. It's true. People are smart. Not only is everyone nihilistic, but they know. They go, dude, every coin just goes down eventually. Everybody's got a sell point, right? You know what that means? It means they're realizing these coins are not religions. That's what it means. In Bitcoin, people still want to hold it in 5 years. Yeah. With any of these coins, they don't. There's no religion aspect. They don't want to give it to their children, right? Like if you're buying poop coin number 15, or even not that, even if you're just buying some random DEX coin, like Uniswap, for example, even people know, like, hey, do you want your children to grow up and be owning the Uni token? Hell no, no one cares. No one cares. No religion aspect. Do you get it? That's why it's also very important on PulseChain if we can solve. So this is why, friends, nobody in crypto is doing what Richard's, I guess, doing if this works out. Friends, I don't even know if Richard is subconsciously. This could be him just doing this subconsciously. Okay, so if he's watching this video, it's probably like this is the plan, I guess, hopefully. But if PWBTC and PDI, if they match, you can hold the world's biggest airdrop of these tokens, and they're ping-ponged to their fair values of $1 here and then big BTC. You don't need to leave the chain, right? That's the bet. That no one else in crypto is doing this. No one. Literally no one's doing that. Where you're linked to the chain through these things, right? It's not just a paper claim, right? So that's the most important part. Because every other chain, what are they doing? They're trying to make an amazing app revenue generation thing, but people are going to go in a bear market, like Hyperliquid. Yeah, volume's going down 95% in the bear market. You're going to get all this competition and stuff. Okay? No cult aspect. No. Remember, it's meme cult religion. You're trying to get the cult religion aspect. You try to get that. Because that'll be it. So it's like Richard wants everybody to stay on the chain, but this is the thing, friends. He tried everything. We tried everything. At least we tried, right? We tried staking lockups, right? Staking lockups plus yield, plus there was money injection, plus there is all this meme cult stuff. There was all this cult stuff put in. It still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. Still had the minus 99%. And even if it didn't go 99%, it would have went down at 90% like everything else. And it's still down that much. Right? So you need the business cycle to be up. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So you're starting to get it now. That's why it's extremely important to go, hey, what if I could, so pretty much what you're trying to do is, what if you could use religion tools, right? But use it for your chain. What's a religion tool? I guess Bitcoin, have your own Bitcoin, and then have your own USD, right? Obviously US dollar, we don't call it a religion. It's a worldwide network. It's a country. No one says, the US dollar is a religion. 85% of the world uses it. It's pretty much a religion. Everybody wants to save in it, right? You're starting to get it now. Let's crack on. So Major Loser Powell, Fed, has cut rates by 25 basis points. Remember, friends, I made a breaking news video. So Stephen Moran, he's a new Fed governor dude. So this is what that's what they do. When they want to steer the Fed a certain way, they'll recruit someone who is on par with their views. And Stephen Moran says we should have a third mandate. And the third mandate is we should cater for long-term investing. So they pretty much want to do yield curve control, where they print money and they buy the long-term bonds. They actually did this, friends, when I was trading. It was called Operation Twist. Yeah, when I first heard about it, I had no idea what the hell was going on back then. Yeah, but it's Operation Twist. They would go and they'd buy the long-end bonds. I think they bought the 20-year, whatever it is, okay, to help long-term mortgages. Right. And also not allow people to save long term. They don't want them to save long term. They want you to bring the investment shorter and shorter to invest now. So Major Loser Powell, these were his comments, friends. He says the Federal Reserve can no longer say the job market is solid. You know what I mean? So he goes, it's no longer solid, right? Also, the market didn't like this when he said this. So Major Loser Powell said the Fed Reserve doesn't feel the need to move quickly on interest rate cuts. Right. So it's funny. They asked him as well, do you think you're too late? Pretty much. They said, do you think you're too late? He goes, no. So that's when the market was like, what? Excuse me? Your whole name is Major Loser Too Late Powell. What are you talking about? You're not too late. So that's where we had a bit of the skits out. Right. He goes, I don't think we were too late at all. Major Loser Fed Jerome Powell says tariffs are being paid by US importers. So it's kind of like, they're digging the heels in a bit. And then he says as well, the economy has slowed down. All these useless comments. The same shit over and over and over again. No one really cares, friends. It doesn't matter, man. The whole job is to stay. This is the thing, okay? The central bank literally prints the ultimate power for control. Yep, so then what they do is they try to keep the population at all times not looking, even though everybody does look. But that's their whole goal, right? So also, moving on. Eric Trump says crypto is a perfect hedge to real estate. It is, friends. Even though some countries, real estate's been boomed. Remember, real estate, friends, what people do is in some countries, because then their own national currency is debasing, people will store money in different places. Yeah. In some countries, they'll store money in the real estate there. Other countries, like America, they have a tendency to store money in their stock market, right? Because people, I guess in America, everybody just likes the stocks. They're more liquid. It's S&P 500 as well. You're betting on your own country, right? And also, America's super diverse when it comes to real estate. There's a total difference between, say, New York, and then if you go to Baltimore, downtown Baltimore, for example, or Chicago, right? So that's also another thing that everyone gets access to. But yeah, as well with real estate, fans, something everyone's got to know. The government, right? They're printing money, but if there's ever an inflationary time and they can't print money as hard, they're going to grab money from taxes. And guess what, bro? You know that house? Oh, yeah. You can't lift it out of the ground. You can't send it to somebody else. You can't put it on a crane and catapult it out of your country either. They're taxing you. They're already putting up the property taxes as well. I remember I heard Nick Fuentes say his property tax doubled. It's such a scam, man, because you can't even sell your home. So you're just paying more, right? You're gonna get access to your capital in your home. So that's the important part when it comes to just understanding crypto being a hedge for real estate as well. Because real estate, remember, do you really own the home? Not really. It's not just about that ownership. They can tax you straight away. And also real estate, you got to buy it in big chunks. You can't buy a piece of it as well. CME, friends, the Kirk Mercantile Exchange is going to launch Soylana and XRP options. So that's just allowing more hedging. The volatility will compress even more on these things. Hopefully they continue to launch more futures, man. It'll be great if Kirk Mercantile Exchange, man. I really want them to launch Doge, and they should be launching Doge and BNB and Chainlink, and even throw Uni, just whatever. Just throw all these coins out so we can start making an index and give us a top signal as well. Also, friends, I want to show you something quickly. So we know of the liquidity cycle, right? We do know of the liquidity cycle. Raoul Powell, it's kind of funny. So I was reading his tweets yesterday. So this is the liquidity cycle. Yeah, it actually says we're still going to the end of the year. The bonds. Do you remember I've told you the global the 4 year cycle for crypto, right? It's because of the 4-year debt rollover. Okay, in 2021 and 2022, the last time they did it, the average maturity was actually not 4 years. It's 5. Okay, so it's 5 years. That's the average maturity. It wasn't 4. So I guess what this means is we run a whole extra year. Right? I already run a whole extra year. So, I guess that means we top out somewhere next year, which there's another thing, right? We're all thinking about, hey, where are we going to top out next year? When? Don't know. How do we trick everybody? I don't know, friends. Obviously, I don't want us to run to December next year. Because I'm like, man, come on, man. This is going way, way, way too long. But I'm just saying none of us want to. Right? None of us really want it to run because we're like, oh, man, that's too long, right? But I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to play out. We'll see what happens. Remember, there's always that ignition candle that comes in, right? There's always that ignition candle, which basically sets everything on a different path. Because Bitcoin, friends, Bitcoin, for example, it does not just go like this forever. Oh, wow, sweet. That'd be so easy if it did. It doesn't do that. Instead, what it does is there's this moment where it literally has a pop, pop, pop. It does the ignition, right? It literally just snaps up. That's what happens to all of crypto. That's what we're waiting for. But we have nothing in sight so far. Forward Industries have announced a $4 billion share sale to boost Soylana strategy. So you're going to see more digital assets and companies appearing here. We have the Soy ETH ratio still hanging around here. Yeah, no one really knows where to look anymore, right? We have PumpFun. They're trying to explore with different product market fits. But yeah, no one can really find their footing when it comes to that. Or because, the business cycle, friends, that's what it is. No one's feeling confident in the future at all, right? Not whatsoever. But something will have to come around. We have the MicroStrategy NAV 1.27. We'll check it every single day, just as a monitoring of it. Yeah, man. It feels like, it feels like something's up. It feels like something's up with Bitcoin. It's time for altcoins, and we don't know how long it's going to run for. A new court filing reveals a Coinbase hack suspect kept data for over 10,000 customers on her phone since September 2024. With the insider allegedly stealing customer info and selling it to hackers for $200 per photo. Oh my gosh. So, absolute trash. I got a friendly reminder. Not your keys, not your crypto. Not your keys, not your crypto. Number 1. Number 2, get your hardware wallet. Number 2. Number 3, on exchanges, people usually watch the CEO, but I'm here to tell you, friends, I'm the only person in crypto telling you this. With exchanges, okay, you don't watch the CEO. That's not the problem. The CEO is public. The CEO's got access to the money. They feel rich. You don't need to worry about them. You got to worry about the workers. You don't see them. Okay, you don't see the worker, some like Russian kid, some Indian girl, okay, someone in China, rural China. You don't know. They're just in second or third world countries, right? Or somewhere in Africa where they don't earn that much. You know, that guy from Brazil, man, he took a $2,000 bribe, and he gave hackers the access to $140 million. Wild. They pay, hey, give me $2,000, give me access to the admin. There you go. That's what scammers do, friends. They bribe their way in because they're trying to get the big mother load, okay? So that's why you got to super be careful about these exchanges, right? You can't trust anybody. You just can't, friends. You can't trust the fart in the kitchen either. We know that. Nasdaq-listed Sharps Technology announced a strategic partnership with Bonk. Remember, Bonk, B-O-N-K. Bonk is the Soylana meme coin. It's a Soylana meme coin to leverage Bonk's liquid staking infrastructure. So we'll see. Meme coin super cycle. We do all still believe. I guess we got to see what happens after that point. Speaking of that as well, we have a baby doll in my telegrams. Mr. Good, he said that Toshi got listed on Binance. And I can see now they're up 50% instantly. A nice 50% move. Let's see what happens. So this is their pop-up. Here's Toshi. Went up here, snap up. I wonder if we'll keep continuing up. Here's Toshi still moving up. Hopefully this is what most of the meme coins do. They do this and they go up and have some big slice up to the moon. But yeah, everyone's still waiting for everything else to come and crank. Yeah, it's just like, what's it gonna do? What's it gonna be? Just gonna be memes, or people gonna build applications, or like in the bull market, everything usually goes. Everything new goes. You know, it's like in the bull market. Remember, there was DeFi 2.0, so like Hex, Olympus DAO stuff, but then there's also gaming and metaverse. You had alternative layer ones, like, you know, Phantom screamed. I was in Soylana. Soylana made like, it's funny, friends. Soylana's one of my biggest wins as well. It's funny. I keep calling it Soylana. It is called Soylana. Yeah, I think I made 108x on it. I think I sold literally. I sold the exact top to the day. I sold the exact top. Yeah, I think everyone forgets that I sold the absolute exact Pico top to the day. And do you want to know how what did I use? You don't have to look far. It was, I think Crypto Banter had Soylana week or Soylana day on their show. I'm gonna never forget that. And it went up. I literally got out. Crypto Banter's making show out. I also sold the exact top of Phantom. I sold the exact top of the Phantom ETH ratio. And what did I use to sell the top? I'm not making it up. You can go check. Crypto Banter had a Phantom day. Yeah, and they did a Phantom day. Was it like December 2021? They had Harry Yee on, and there was a Phantom. There was a 1 or 2 day event thing, and I got out. Yeah, that was just. And I'm telling you, man, you're talking to the master. It's just like Crypto Banter made a day, bang. Oh man, it was wild. Oh man, so crazy. It's just crazy. It's fun to think about these things. That's what happens, right? It's not that anybody's evil. It's just that our maximum excitement happens at these things. That's why friends, I even tell you all the time, man. If you start seeing me do some sort of like tour, right? Let's say PulseChain actually cranks 100x, and they bring me on Crypto Banter, and all these people want to do interviews. Like, you just remember this now. Just start clicking sell, bro. You already know. They're not bringing you out unless the prices are really, really, really high. But it's not a guarantee either. It's not a guarantee. It just because. But you know what I mean by it's not a guarantee. Because there could be a lot of coins going up. There could be, all right? It could be that. However, you just kind of think with how loud Richard Hart is with his marketing, like with, you know, the LCD gifts and, you know, even Gabriel Haynes doing it. You have that. You have me. Everyone knows who I am because it's just growing and growing. So you have that factor. Plus, it's a believer cycle, right? And there's not too many things people believe in. Yeah, so are we going to get 100x and everybody else gets 10? I hope so, man. But I'll just tell you, it never works like that. It's usually like believers win, everyone else loses. That's what usually ends up happening, right? Look at XRP, by the way. One of the rare winners of 2024. Okay, believe in something. Check this out. Saudi Awal Bank, they have done an agreement with Chainlink to accelerate on-chain finance adoption in Saudi Arabia. leveraging CCIP and Chainlink runtime environment for the next on-chain applications. Wow. So Chainlink making all these adoptions. Wow. That's cool. Let's see your shitty price. 23 bucks. Still unchanged like everything else. No one cares. The SEC have further delayed their decision for Truth Social Spot Bitcoin ETF. That's Donald Trump's Bitcoin ETF seeking public comments for the proposal. Just want to remind you as well, we will be watching the Trump family. You know, maybe they'll be selling off most of their crypto as a real bull market part appears. Binance are in talks with the DOJ, Department of Jelly Beans, to end its 3-year compliance monitoring requirement for the 4.3 billion settlement, and it could ease regulatory pressures, etc., etc. Very, very important. Remember, friendly reminder, you must know this, okay? Why PI is product market fit? Because specifically you have things like CZ got attacked by the DOJ and SEC unlawfully, unjustly, so they could give all the power to Tether and Coinbase and the trading volume there, okay? So that's why we're going to do, when we do these things, we've got to do them differently. Also, friends, a bit of, let's get some deep state stuff. So Charlie Kirk's ass nation, the corrupt FBI wants you to believe that there is a rifle in this guy's pants. Apparently, there's a rifle in this guy's pants somewhere, which definitely there isn't, man. They're literally definitely. Look at this, Ben. Bro, where's the rifle, man? Where's the rifle? This is the only. You might say, but Tommy, can they release the photos? Why don't they release the video? I don't know. You told me. Go ask them. Release the videos. Remember, they also said Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Smells very sus. No way out of this except to go turbo long on crypto. When you're long on crypto, you are long on their lies. Don't forget that, friends. Also, friends, I'm going to show you this. This was really, really, really weird. Okay. Also, friends, some of you don't know this, okay? Remember, there is a thing called MK Ultra. Okay. A lot of friends and family, you don't know this. MK Ultra. Look at this. MK Ultra was a illegal human experiment program run by the CIA. So the American government, they ran an illegal human experiment program by the CIA. They developed procedures to identify drugs that could be used during interrogations to weaken individuals and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. So you might say, oh, but that's confessions. Now, but chill out. Firstly, friends, this was done, if you look at it, this was done. They started in 1953, okay? They literally started in 1953, and it gets worse, okay? This whole MK Ultra that blew up, it was only 1%. The CIA deleted everything else because they were afraid, there were rumors, they were afraid that there would be an American Civil War if they released everybody what they were doing to the American population. So this is only 1%. So what's in the 1%? They were testing LSD, like all the mind-altering, just like baby drugs based pretty much, like acid and stuff. They were testing that. Can they control you? They were testing, not can they were testing, how can we control someone? How can we put memories in their head? How can we make them think? How we can do psychological torture? How can we make them basically, get them to do our bidding? Okay, friends, you got to imagine, they started in 1953. It's been, friends, how long has it been, man? 75, 80 years pretty much. And that was 1%. What else were they doing back then? They were too scared to release to the public. They deleted all the files. They removed all the files. Okay? So that's why when you see even that, the trans rage, when you see these kids and stuff out here, they look really lost, man. They look like where have they been, right? But you just don't know. I'm not saying it is every time. I'm just telling you they do this stuff. They have the power to do this stuff, and they use this stuff all the time, okay? That's why I'm about to show you this context here. So this was Harrison Smith. So obviously Harrison. I'm not going to name any names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks is real, not to be confused with is fake, is real, will kill him if he turns against them. And then this guy, friends, replied in August 14th. Look what he says. He goes, they would. If Charlie turned his heel on Israel, they would have someone shoot him at an open-air event. And they have some idiot groiper with a genetically anomalous issue there to be the patsy or fall guy. Part of why you never make the deal with the devil in the first place. It was literally a forecasting of the prophecy. He said this a month ago. It's exactly what happened. An open air event, live event, and then you have somebody else to take the hit. Wow. It's literally exactly what happened. Also, friends, I showed you There's a 5-year, this is funny, man. I made a video for you yesterday. There's a 5-year ballistics expert. A guy literally, not some armchair guy saying, oh no, this is definitely what happened. This guy literally worked. He was a sniper marine. He's a sniper. He's a ballistics expert. He went through frame by frame and he showed that the government's lying. He goes, the FBI was lying. The bullet didn't come from where they want. It was physically impossible to come from where they are. It came from Charlie's right. And then we have George Webb, an independent investigative journalist. He literally went there himself to the site and he sees and he goes, look where everything is. He goes, it really looks like that this thing came from the right. It did not come from where they claim. So this is how the game goes, right? So where are we going to go to from here? Hopefully, friends, we still see, you know, the next phase appear for crypto. We've got to get Ethereum back above $5,000. Kind of funny, friends. PolyMarket is still one of the metas going on. PolyMarket lets you bet on whether Charlie Kirk's killer was gay. Crypto really is the future. 100% chance. It's priced in at 100% chance. It's funny. He ain't the guy, though. Love your posts. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is Charlie Robinson queer? So 2 million volume. Remember, there are 2 metas going on. There's a streamer coin meta, super short-term stuff, and then you have prediction markets. But you get people like, you know, plugging in the AI and stuff out here. So we're all waiting for something to really crank on through. We need to see Ethereum $5,000 plus, then we can confirm friendship. Like, subscribe, Billy Butter and all. Catch you in the next one.